What's going on, guys? Back at y'all with another video today. Today we have an instant reaction to breaking news, and that is that the Lions have traded quarterback Matthew Stafford to the Los Angeles Rams, which is definitely a surprising destination, for 2 first-round picks, a third-round pick, and quarterback Jared Goff, who really is more of a negative with that contract of his. But this is a pretty crazy trade. You usually don't see this stuff so early in the offseason, and we just wanted to give a quick instant reaction on thoughts on the implications for the Lions, the Rams, and also for fantasy. So, Gavin, what do you think? What was your initial reaction to this?
I was taking a nap, actually. I woke up to a bunch of texts about some breaking news, and then I heard it was Lions and Rams out of all people. Who would have thought the Rams would receive Stafford in this big trade? I always thought he'd probably be a Niner. I feel like he would fit there, but then, wow, going to the Rams. The Rams are fully loaded. Holy cow! Now Stafford's a gunslinger. I would say he's a big step up from Goff. I feel like Goff has always been kind of a system guy.
Yeah.
The Rams dumping off that contract. I really think that they're definitely in win now mode. They have all the pieces. We saw that defense this year. That's pretty scary. What would you say? What do you say
about the trade
with
as
the
well?
Lions?
Or for the Lions? For the Lions, I would say this kind of reminds me of, I saw people discussing on Twitter earlier the Brock Osweiler Texans trade from a few years ago, where basically I believe the Texans traded, it was the Texans and the Browns, I believe, and I don't remember which way it was because I know he played for both teams, but basically one of the teams ate that contract of his for a second round pick because they're just in total rebuild mode. I think it was the Browns. I think the Browns...
I believe the Texans are the ones that paid him, and the Browns traded for him afterwards.
Yeah, the Browns traded for him. The Texans gave the Browns a second-round pick to eat the contract because the Browns were in total rebuild mode. And that's kind of what this strikes me as for the Lions. This team's really far away from contending, and the roster has a lot of holes. And they're eating this contract of Jared Goff, which, isn't very good. It's $134 million with the Rams. I'm not sure how much longer he's on the books. I know it wasn't pretty. But so they're eating this contract, but they're getting 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick.
They're rebuilding
for an aging veteran quarterback who didn't really make sense to be on a team that was so far away from competing. So I do like this from the Lions' perspective. I know people love to make fun of the Lions, obviously, but from their perspective, I think this makes a lot of sense. I think now you can look at maybe drafting a quarterback at number 7 overall and letting him sit behind Jared Goff, and maybe they won't be very good this year or next year or the year after, but now you have the 2022 first from the Rams, who, by the way, this is a great trade now, but in 2 years, if a couple things go wrong, if Matt Stafford gets injured, maybe the Rams are picking closer to the top of the draft and you have a Houston Texans situation where, the Dolphins are picking number 3 in the draft because of the Texans kind of mortgaging their future. And it could happen for the Lions. And I think this is a good trade for them to get assets to rebuild. And I definitely like it for them. And also about the Rams, I wanted to kind of elaborate more on what you were saying about them, about what this is going to mean for the offense. I think this is wheels up. Wheels up for that entire offense. And what I mean by that is, so I'm going to get the tweet up on screen right now, but Sean McVay has been a play caller in the NFL for 6 seasons, universally seen as a very smart offensive mind. His quarterbacks for those 6 seasons: Blake Bortles, Colt McCoy, Sean Mannion, John Walford, Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff. Not very good, but he's getting Matthew Stafford, who
took one of them to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he took one of them to the Super Bowl, and they've had a consistently great offense. And Matt Stafford's not perfect. I think this, if I had to describe this trade in one word, it would be risky. Absolutely risky. Because Matthew Stafford, he's 33 years old. He's been very frequently injured as of late, and obviously, we know what the Rams cap situation is in the sense that it's not very good. They haven't used a first-round pick since 2016, and now they won't probably till 2025. But so it's obviously a risk, and they're very old, and they don't have a ton of depth, and they won't have more reinforcements coming in the future.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when you have, they traded for Brandon Cooks, who obviously they offloaded because they had more depth. But when you trade for Jalen Ramsey, who I believe is the best corner in the league, you have Aaron Donald, who's probably the best defensive player in the league, and you have Robert Woods, and you have Cooper Kupp, and you have an elite running back in Cam Akers. I think this is a good trade for them as well. And I know they gave up a lot, but I think this is a situation where both sides can win. And Sean McVay really wanted this. He really, really wanted this. He finally has a good quarterback, and he's not necessarily elite, but I think the Rams have a window. That we now know what the Rams are. They're going to try to win this thing in the next 3 to 5 years because they have some stars. They have some good players. And
Hmm.
yeah, was there anything else you wanted to
I
add to
would
that?
I would argue to say that Stafford and McVay's offense will be elite.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
he's always been to people hate on him, but he's got such an incredible arm. I remember Aaron Rodgers talked about kind of people were praising
Yeah,
Mahomes on his no look passes, and Aaron Rodgers, a division rival of Matt Stafford, was praising him. So I
yeah.
mean that says a lot, especially from
Aaron
someone who's considered
Rodgers.
to be the
Yeah,
greatest talent of all time.
at that
Praising him,
position.
I think
Yeah,
that's really important.
talking
But I
about
did
how
want to go
great he
back and
is.
talk about the Lions.
Okay.
I want to go back and talk about the Lions. Like what do they have to be proud of right now on their team? New coach. I think it's clean system. They're going to draft a quarterback first round. I would assume.
Yeah.
Oh no, they just got Goff. Never mind.
They.
I
I
forgot
still
about
think.
that.
I think
I
they
forgot
can
about
still
that.
though. I think they can though because they're far away. I think this is a situation. This is a perfect spot for Trey Lance because he's raw. He's young. He's very talented. But the flaw with him is he's not really ready to start right away. But maybe
Yeah,
you have Trey Lance and develop him for a year or so, and yeah, you use more picks that you
yeah.
got to kind of build this roster slowly, and then give him the reins in a year or two. What do you think of that?
I figured Dan Campbell would probably want to start with one of his own guys. I
Yeah,
figure that's why he got rid of the experience of
of Stafford.
Stafford and brought in some new picks, some draft capital. But I was looking at it, and Detroit's last five first round picks, we have Jeff Okuda, who I would say he underperformed this year.
Absolutely.
TJ Hawkinson, he's a top tight end in a very weak tight end class in the NFL right now. Frank Ragnow, he's an all right center, but
Yeah.
Jared Davis, Taylor Decker, Laken Tomlinson,
It's
none
a
of
lot
these
of
guys are
misses.
big names.
It's a lot of
None of these guys
misses.
are big names.
Yeah, I
So
totally agree.
I like what they're doing, but I don't have much faith in their drafting ability.
Yeah, we'll have to
So
see. And I will say, I think this trade it definitely indicates what Dan Campbell was promised in the sense that this team is very very far away. So like you're not going to see Dan
mhm.
Campbell get fired after he goes 2-14 this year or something like that because this team is far as hell away, and it's going to take a few years to build this. But like I definitely don't hate it for them. I think and I think that will probably be the popular opinion on this because they're pretty far away. They're getting 2 first round picks. A lot of people are saying that the Rams gave up a lot, which they did. But we were just talking about
They
the
also
Lions
cleared
side.
up some cap too.
Yeah, the Rams cleared up some cap, which they needed because that's what they've been doing the past few years, and that's how they're able to remain relevant. Is they signed guys like Leonard Floyd, who had a really great year in that system for them. They were able to retain guys like Michael Brockers. They extended Robert Woods. They extended Cooper Kupp, and I think this is a situation where they have a window. They know what they want to do, and they can win right now. And that's exactly what they're doing. I think this offense is going to be really, really fun to watch with Matthew Stafford. You were mentioning, Sean McVay's wanted like a gunslinger elite quarterback, and that's kind of what Stafford is. I think this is
Yeah.
going to be very similar to the Atlanta Falcons and Matt Ryan's 2016 MVP type season. I think that's what Sean McVay sees, and that's what this can be because this is that same system that Matt Ryan played in under Kyle Shanahan. And Stafford is I'd say a pretty similar quarterback to Matt Ryan, and yeah, it's gonna be really interesting. Any last thoughts?
Yeah, I know. Like just that RPO offense, just that ability. I think Stafford's going to be able to get the ball a lot faster than Jared Goff will. I think that you'll actually see that,
For
and
sure.
that is going to help them out a lot.
And
But did you want to talk about fantasy implications?
yeah, we could do that as well. But one more thing about real life implications, real quick, is something that I don't think will be talked about enough. Is Stafford isn't a great athlete. Like obviously he's not a really good athlete, but Jared Goff is a statue, and this offense thrives off of bootlegs. I think Stafford will give them like a little bit more of an athletic aspect that
Yeah.
Sean McVay will like. We saw him like it with John Walford in the playoffs, even though this is a guy no one's ever heard of. But he was confidently trotting him out there to be the starter because of that athletic ability he brings. And I think Stafford will bring a little bit of that. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into
Yeah.
the
That.
fantasy implications after. What were you going to say?
All right. I was going to say that ability on those bootlegs to bring the linebackers down just a little bit to create more of a space for receivers to get in back behind them. That is going to help them out a lot as well. Just
Yeah,
kicking off of what you just said. But yeah,
for
let's get
sure.
into fantasy. It's the exciting part.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and talk about
How we'll benefit.
Cam Akers real quick, and then I'd like you to talk about what you think this means for the receivers. So I think for Cam Akers, On one side, this offense is going to be throwing the ball a lot more because Sean McVay, like it's been shown numerous times that he didn't trust Jared Goff. So they're absolutely, I would say, they're going to be throwing more than they did this year. But at the same time, the offense is going to be way better, and there's going to be way more scoring opportunities, probably more snaps a game, and I think this offense as a whole being better is going to create an absolute monster season for Cam Akers. I think I had a tweet. I'll get it on the screen. This will be one of my first bold predictions of the offseason, very, very early. Cam Akers is going to score 20 touchdowns in 2021. That's the type of upside he has. He is an amazing runner in between the tackles. He has the breakaway home run speed. He has everything you want in a workhorse running back, and they've shown that they can trust him with that. So I absolutely think this is great for Cam Akers. Absolutely wheels up, and it's going to be really fun to watch. So what about the passing game?
I would say the only scary part is Cam Akers this season only had 11 receptions.
Yeah, I agree. That is something we'll have to watch. And
I'm hoping they don't bring in another running back to be their receiving back. That will hurt him a little bit.
Yeah.
But man, Stafford's gonna open up the offensive playbook a lot more. So I think that is definitely gonna help him out.
Yeah, for sure. So what about the pass catchers? What do you think this means? If you had to guess, like, what does this mean for Kupp or Woods or Tyler Higbee or any of those guys?
Yeah, given that they're healthy, I mean, you look at the Lions with Galladay and Marvin Jones and T.J. Hawkinson. All of them have been. Galladay is always a borderline wide receiver one in fantasy.
Yeah.
Marvin Jones this year, he stepped up whenever Galladay was out, and he was still getting a lot of fantasy points. Hawkinson would he finished third, kind of third
or fourth, something like that.
So I definitely think that the stock for the receivers of the Rams is going to rise.
Yeah.
I would say probably more in my opinion, I would say Woods more than Kupp.
Yeah. I would probably I think Woods, generally speaking, runs deeper routes, but at the same time, Stafford's efficiency in the red zone, I think, helps Cooper Kupp a lot. He's been a very good red zone receiver. So we'll kind of see about that. But just overall, I think their ADPs are definitely going to rise. People are going to be excited about this, as they should be. And it's going to be a fun year to watch. I mean,
wow, man, I'm just thinking that NFC West is so stacked.
Yeah, it's so good. Stacked. Russell, Kyler, Stafford. What did Kyle Shanahan? What do the 49ers do now? Do they try to make a play for Deshaun Watson? Because I mean,
dude, man, I've seen so much Watson. I thought Stafford was going to go there, and then now they were going to be the powerhouse. But dude, it's just a flip of a coin with that division, dude.
Yeah,
I bet you they could have 3 teams in the playoffs. They almost did this year.
No, they did.
Didn't
they? I think they did. Right? Let me think. Rams, Seahawks, and no, never mind. They did not have a third. But I think if the Niners weren't injured, they probably would have. And the Cardinals were right there as well. So
God, man, that's a stacked.
That's a stacked division. We'll see what the Niners do in terms of this is one of those things where Daniel Jeremiah always talks about it, but you build your team to win the division, and this 49ers roster is really stacked, and Kyle Shanahan's really smart. But if you have Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback in a division where you're playing against Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, and Matt Stafford, and on your schedule you got to play Dak Prescott, you got to go play you got to play these elite quarterbacks in the NFC. You got to play Aaron Rodgers. You have to play these guys every year, and you're at a significant quarterback disadvantage every week. You can't do that. So I'm really curious to see what they do at quarterback. Do they trade up for Zach Wilson maybe?
Yeah.
But
they're picking at 12, so they're not going to be able to get one of those top 4 quarterbacks in the draft this year unless they trade up. And there have been talks about them trading up. It's just so hard to tell this early in the draft season.
Yeah.
But man, it's going to be exciting. It'll really be cool to see what this division does this year. And I would say Garoppolo and Goff are kind of similar. I could have seen this deal going with either the Niners or
for sure.
Rams.
I agree.
But
yeah, it'll be interesting. That's really the word to describe this trade. It's very rare that you see this so early in the offseason, and I was very surprised to see it happen so soon. And this is going to be exciting. A lot of people are going to be talking about this. So you're going to hear about this a lot coming up for the season. I think the Rams are going to be talked about a lot as a very good team. One last question before we finish the video in terms of for fantasy. How high do you think Robert Woods' ADP goes, considering that the last 2 to 3 years he's been like a fringe, like 4th round pick, like 4th, 5th round pick? Like, do you think people will take him as like a low end wide receiver one? Because that's what he is most years. What do you think Stafford means for him, for his value?
I'm not taking him above DeAndre. I'm not taking him above Tyreek, Devontae. It's hard with Julio this year. I think he'll probably be similar to Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
And after Calvin Ridley, I think he might be a late late 2 is hard for Robert Woods for me.
I'd say
With
like
how
late
good
third,
running backs are.
fourth.
Probably a 3. He'll be a 3.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll rise that much if his average ADP.
Yeah.
That's ADP is 4th. So probably I would say 3rd round range, early or late.
Yeah. I would
What
agree
about
with
you?
that. I think every year Robert Woods is one of those guys that kind of like returns ADP every single year. He ends up being a low end wide receiver 1, and every year you can draft him in like the freaking 5th round. I think this is a year where the hype kind of will catch up and people will start to draft him earlier, maybe like late 3rd, 4th round, and we'll see. It'll be really fun. But
Well, this is big trade.
yeah, I think that's about it. You got anything else?
No, that's it, man.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this new format. We haven't really done any like breaking news analysis on this channel, and I think this is fun. This is less scripted, and we're just kind of talking football.
Yeah, it's more loose.
And I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Our Twitters will be in the description. And yeah, subscribe for more. See you next time.